Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about the season finale of the Traitors US season 3, and we'll also talk a little bit about the reunion. We pick up right where we left off at the end of the last episode. Britney is going to be the deciding vote, so we know whether or not Danielle or Ivar gets eliminated, and she votes Danielle out. It happened so fast, thank God they didn't make us wait very long. I think voting Danielle out was the right choice because voting for Ivar wouldn't have made any sense. Like, it makes sense for Dolores being like, yeah, I'm still suspicious of Ivar. Dolores has been making poor choices this entire season, but for Britney to vote for Ivar just would not be consistent with the way that she's been voting overall. I do think it would have made her look more suspicious. I think, honestly, all that would have done is at the end of, like, when they're all at the fire pit, the faithfuls probably would have ended up voting Danielle and Britney out anyway. And Britney starts crying. It's not like Danielle fake crying, trying to pretend like she's so upset when she was like voting Carolyn out and whoever else. Britney was like sobbing at the table. She felt so bad. I feel like at first I was like, she only voted for Danielle because she thought Dolores was gonna switch her vote to Danielle. But then at the end, she says in the confessional, she's just kind of like, I had to vote for Danielle. There was no other way out. It would have looked too suspicious not to. And I mean, I agree. I think it's like sweet that they both wanted to finish together in the end, but like, I don't think that there was any other way she could have voted. Voting Danielle out made sense. Because then anyway, if she voted for Ivar, I'm pretty sure it just would have ended up being a tie, right? And then they would have had to do like a coin flip. It would have been stupid. Honestly, I don't think Danielle was really mad at all. I think she understood, and I'm sure if she was in Britney's position, she would have done the exact same thing. I think that she was trying to help Britney with her reaction. I think at least that she was just trying to like be like, oh my God, I thought we were friends. Like, I can't believe you betrayed me like this. I don't think she was trying to sabotage her in any way. But then in Danielle's banishment speech, I do think she unintentionally sabotages Britney. A lot of people on Reddit have been saying this. They've been debating whether or not this should have been allowed for Danielle to say. You know, she basically goes around to each individual person. She's like, Dylan, I meant everything I said to you. Ivar and Dolores, like, thank you. And then she turns to Britney and she just says something like mean to her, or just something like, I can't believe you betrayed me, or like, I should have known you would do this, or something like that, that is different than what she said to other people. And that is honestly what starts Dylan and Ivar being suspicious of Britney being a traitor. So like, I really don't think Danielle was trying to sabotage the traitors, because in the reunion she says, she's like, I signed an NDA, I took it really seriously. So like, I don't think she's the type of person who would risk that, because then it would give her a bad reputation like in the reality TV sphere, like, and I don't think she wants that. Reality TV is her game. Like, she wants to be invited back to shows, and I think if she were to purposely try to sabotage Britney, that would damage her reputation, because they're not allowed to do that. So I really don't think she did that on purpose. In Danielle's confessionals, she says that she was embarrassed for making the decision to believe in her, and she says that she should have just killed her. I think that, like, even if Britney and Danielle made it all the way to the end, I have a hard time believing that Danielle would have wanted Britney to win with her. I think Danielle wanted to win all by herself. I really don't think that she would have taken Britney all the way to the end. And Britney is sobbing and sobbing at the round table, and she says in the confessional, she's like, I wanted to win with Danielle, but people were just too suspicious of her. And I think that's true. I don't think there was any way Danielle was getting to the end of the game with this group of people who's currently still there. Then Alan comes in and reveals that Britney is the seer, which is interesting. I have a feeling that Danielle was probably gonna get the seer, but then she got banished, so second place was Britney. At first, when I was watching, I was like, fuck, like, that means she's probably gonna win, because it'll be so easy for her to just, like, call somebody in, be like, oh, I think they're a traitor, and then now everybody votes that person out, and then at the fire pit, they all vote to end the game, and Britney wins. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But then I was like, they've already gotten so many traitors out. Danielle is the fourth traitor that they've banished. So if Britney were to call somebody in and be like, oh, this person is a traitor, would the other faithfuls believe? Would they be like, oh my God, there's another traitor? Like, I agree with what Britney ended up doing, which is that she called Gabby in, and Gabby, obviously it was revealed that she was a faithful and Britney didn't lie. I think that was ultimately her best bet, because I think lying about somebody being a traitor wouldn't have done her any favors. Dylan is the first one to clock that Danielle said something nice about everybody except Britney. It's basically the nail in Britney's coffin. I mean, whether or not Danielle was trying to sabotage her, I really don't think she was. I don't think she's the type to want to just explicitly break the rules like that. I do think it was kind of the end of Britney. And the seer setup is so nice. Britney ends up calling Gabby in to reveal her true identity, which is funny because I do think at the end that is what ultimately helped Gabby win, but we'll get there. The setup is really, really nice. It's like a candlelit dinner. Gabby makes a joke about feeling like she's on The Bachelor again, which is like so funny. And it's revealed, obviously, that Gabby is a faithful. And I think it's so funny because I feel like Britney does such a horrible job of acting surprised. Gabby never ends up bringing this up, but I would have brought it up. I feel like Britney basically opens the envelope and she goes, wow, oh my God, that is a relief. I mean, she doesn't seem shocked like at all, but Gabby didn't clock it, so whatever. I think she got lucky with that. Then everybody's walking into breakfast the next day, and Ivar in the confessional says that he's naturally just like a very shy, reserved person, but he became more outgoing as the game went on, and he says that he really wants to get to the end with Dylan, which is like really sweet. Everybody loves Dylan. I don't think there was a single person in that castle who had beef with Dylan. I feel like he was like the most popular person there. Britney starts out breakfast by saying that she didn't sleep well at all last night, and they're like really setting up like, is Britney gonna lie about Gabby being a traitor or not? But she says she's like, I had suspicions of Gabby from the beginning, but thank God Gabby ended up being a faithful, which is like good. I think it's good that she didn't lie, because I think all that would have happened if Britney lied was they would have banished Britney and Gabby. So I think honestly Britney did Gabby a favor by saying that she's a faithful, because I think that is the only reason why Gabby ended up making it to the end of this game, because Dylan was suspicious of her the whole time. So I think at the fire pit at the end, when they're like voting whether or not to end the game, I think if Britney hadn't revealed that Gabby was a faithful, Dylan would have wanted to get her out. And I mean, for a second, Britney's strategy seems like it's working, because Dylan is like really thrown off. He for sure thought that Britney was gonna frame Gabby as a traitor, but then he kind of doesn't know what to believe with Britney telling the truth. At first he's like, could Britney and Gabby both be traitors and they're working together? But then it's like, what, there were 6 traitors in the game? I feel like that's a little far-fetched. And then Britney says basically what I said. She, in the confessional, she's like, I knew they would have just voted both of us out if I said that she was a traitor, so I just told the truth. Good strategy. That's like really, she's doing the best that she could do. I think being recruited as a traitor is the hardest job in the game. I think like, especially so late in the game, you don't know how you're gonna play it. Like you have to so quickly change your whole mindset as to like your winning strategy. You're going from being a faithful to a traitor overnight. Like it's really hard, and I think she does the best she can. Alan comes in and he says from now on, nobody who gets banished will reveal their true identity. Which it's really interesting, because I know they were, from the beginning, they said they were going to introduce that towards the end of the game. But I feel like that and the seer, at least in this game, honestly really didn't make much of a difference. Maybe it's something that'll make a difference more in like later seasons, but at least this season, I feel like the seer and people not revealing their true identities as they get banished really like didn't end up mattering. It didn't really end up causing any drama. Honestly, like from this point on, after Danielle gets banished, there's really not that much drama in the rest of the finale. It's pretty smooth sailing for at least the faithful from here. So now they're all scattered in the castle, talking amongst themselves, talking with their allies. There's only 5 of them left. The castle is looking so empty. Gabby asks if Dylan and Ivar think that there's another traitor left, and both of them say yes. And Dylan is suspicious of Gabby, and Ivar is suspicious of Dolores. And it's interesting. It's something that you couldn't really tell in the edit, but based on what other people are saying, it seems like Gabby didn't really play the social game very much. At least like that's what the other faithfuls are saying. They're saying saying that like she stuck with the Bambis this whole time and she wasn't really super open to talking to other people. In the reunion, Gabby refutes this. She's like, that's not true. Like the Bambis were very open to whoever wanted to join. But I feel like I can definitely see Gabby, like, just with her personality, she doesn't really seem like the type to like be going around trying to make friends with everyone and playing the social game. I feel like that would be inauthentic to her, and she is the last person who would ever be inauthentic to herself. Britney knows she's in trouble at this point, and the only thing she can think of is banding the girls together to get rid of Dylan, which won't work. I knew as soon as she said that was not gonna work. Dylan is a confirmed faithful. Everybody has been saying that since like halfway through the season. I knew immediately. I was like, Britney's done. Like, she's not gonna win. And then Dolores is still on Ivar. At this point, listen, I would be like, just vote her out because she doesn't even deserve to win. Dolores was really pissing me off with this whole Ivar thing, but whatever. Gabby's final roundtable outfit is so hot. She got so lucky because her roundtable outfit last night was also, or no, her breakfast outfit was super hot. And I feel like she saved her best outfits for getting to the finale. I feel like she knew she would get that far, and like it paid off because both of her outfits are so hot. So at the roundtable, we get the Ivar and Dolores stuff out of the way first. He's accusing her, she's accusing him. Ivar says that he never wanted to be a traitor. And honestly, I feel like he puts up the best faithful argument that I've seen so far. He basically just says he's always lived his life in the public eye, and like ever since he was a baby, he was taught to never ever do drama, don't end up in the papers, don't do anything that's gonna get you put on the front page of some gossip tabloid. And he's like, I am literally incapable of lying and being deceitful and causing drama. It's against my DNA. It's against everything I've ever been taught. I actually think that was a really good argument because all anybody else says is, I am 100% a faithful, which is like, okay, cool. I'm 200% a faithful. Now what? You know what I mean? It's like anybody can say that. But I feel like Ivar presents a really good argument as to like, if I was a traitor, I would not have made it this far because I would have been a very bad one. And I think it works. I feel like Dolores kind of gets off of him after that. And then the roundtable between Dylan and Britney got really heated, and this was the final nail in Britney's coffin. Dylan has been super calm at all of the roundtables. This one is no different. He tells Britney straight up, he's like, I'm 99% sure I'm gonna be voting for you because you are the only one left who's had any suspicion on you of being a traitor. And Britney's defense is that Dylan really wanted the seer power the most out of everybody, and Dylan is kind of shocked that she's accusing him. I don't think Dylan expected that at all, which I think goes to show just how far-fetched of an argument that is. I mean, at least in the edit, it didn't really seem like Dylan was like desperate to get the seer power. I feel like it was kind of clear that like Danielle was really desperate for the seer power, but again, that could have just been the edit. And Dylan hits the nail on the head. He's like, I think you were recruited. Britney goes back and tries to be complimentary about it. She's like, I think you would make the best recruitment because you are the most faithful of the faithfuls. And she's being like really intense about it. I feel like they edited a lot of this stuff out, but the way that Dylan is sitting there, he looks like really, really shocked. Like he's sitting there and he's kind of like, okay, like relax. Like I think Britney is like really, really going in on him. And it's like if I was sitting there, like if I'm Gabby, Ivar, or Dolores, I'd be like, well, Britney's really seeming like a traitor now because she's panicking. Like I feel like a person who is a faithful wouldn't be getting this defensive and this like aggro. And then Ivar says that it's very possible that she could have been a traitor and she was just like the meekest of the traitors, so she kind of fell under the radar. And then Britney asks if she seems meek, and Dylan's like, well, at the start of the game you did. And I would actually agree with that because I would say for the first, how many episodes of this show has there been? 9? I would say for the first 5 episodes of this show, I didn't even know who Britney was because she barely got any screen time because she was like barely contributing to the conversation. So I would actually agree with that. Like clearly her personality has changed a lot as they've come to the end of the game. And then Dolores in the confessional finally redeems herself. And she says, I finally realized I needed to vote with my brain and not with my heart. It's honestly kind of a big redemption moment for her. And she finally casts her first good vote for Britney. I think in literally the entire season, this is the first good vote that she's ever cast. It's pretty much a unanimous vote. Britney gets voted out. She's really, really pissed. I mean, it was like a really ugly round table. Like by the end of that, Dylan and Britney were like really, really hating each other. And Dylan just really wanted Britney at one point to stop talking. Like she was like going at him. And he was just like, okay, damn, like whatever. Like it was like really heated in a way that like it hasn't been with specifically Dylan before. He was pretty good about like keeping it impersonal before, but I feel like the way that she was talking to him really got to him. And then the rest of the episode is just really sweet. The rest of the episode is really, really cute. It's all faithfuls left, so they could literally win right then and there, and Alan does a one-on-one sit down with everybody asking like what it would mean to them to win, and Gabby starts crying, and she's like, it would mean so much to me because I'm just thinking about my girlfriend and how proud of me she would be. And then she's like, maybe we could get married. And it's so cute, especially now knowing that, because Gabby announced the day before the finale aired that her and her girlfriend actually got married in January because of the wildfires in LA. It was just kind of like a spontaneous decision they made to get married in Vegas. So like it was like really, really sweet. I almost cried. I mean, it was really, really cute. And then they go to the fire pit, and the edit is trying to make it as dramatic as possible, but I feel like we literally have a group of 4 of the least dramatic faithfuls there's ever been in this game. And you know the rules of the fire pit. It's however many people are left. They each get like a little bag. One is green and one is red. And if they vote green, it means end the game. Let's not banish anybody else. If they do red, it means I want to banish somebody. And that means everybody has to vote to banish someone. And the way that they're setting it up is that Dolores may or may not vote red because now all of a sudden she's suspicious of Dylan. And they're like really setting this up to be like a nail biter. I was super nervous. I was like, is Dolores gonna vote red and just like ruin this for everybody right now? But everybody ends up voting green. First try, they don't have to banish anybody else, and the faithfuls win. And it's really, really sweet. It's apparently the largest group of faithfuls to ever win the Traitors, I think, like globally, like out of all the different segments of the franchise. So it was just really sweet. It was a really sweet, wholesome ending. I'm satisfied with this group of Traitors who won. I feel like I could have done without Dolores winning, to be honest. Like my perfect fantasy was like Dylan and Gabby would win together. I think that would have been really fun, but it is what it is. I really am not upset by it at all. I'm not upset with how things shook out. And that's it. That's the end of the show. It's just really, really cute. We can touch on the reunion a little bit. Honestly, the Traitors reunions are never great. They're always like a little corny, and I always think they have way too many cooks in the kitchen. I do not think every single player needs to be invited back. Invite like the major guys, and like I liked the format they had this season where they started out with the winners and then they invited a few more of the major players and everyone else was just in the green room commentating. I think it should have just been like that the whole time. Don't let them come out of the green room. There is no reason why like Wells and Ayan and like Dorinda needed to be there. I think that was just way too much. The first thing Alan does is call out Dolores for voting incorrectly 8 out of 10 times. And she just says that Sandoval was just like really pissing her off and her temper got the best of her, which is like, sure, like I get it, but like, come on, Dolores, 8 out of 10 times. He also mentions that she used to be a correctional officer, and I did not know that. I actually have never seen The Real Housewives of New Jersey, so like Dolores as a whole was kind of a blind spot for me. I didn't know anything about her before this, so really interesting bit of information. The Traitors come out. Andy calls them out for killing all of the housewives at the beginning of the show, which is so funny, as he should. I really didn't like that. I would have loved if a lot more of the housewives could have stayed around for longer, like Dorinda and Ayan. There was also a comment made about how Carolyn wanted to be a traitor so badly she slept in a cloak and wore it all day, which is like, I mean, she says it herself. She's she's like, I manifested it. And I'm like, honestly, yeah, clearly you did. And it goes to show, like, careful what you wished for, because the experience looked like hell for her. Danielle says that she turned on Carolyn because Boston Rob had too much power and she felt like they were working together, Carolyn and Boston Rob, so her strategy was to try and weaken Carolyn. I think the Traitors' biggest downfall this whole season was they started turning on each other way too early. I mean, Boston Rob got Bob the drag queen out, what, like third or fourth? I mean, it all started way too soon. And I think as soon as Boston Rob got Bob the drag queen out, it just eroded all of the trust the Traitors had in each other. It created so much paranoia. I really think that was their downfall. I think that was just the moment when it was decided by the universe that, like, they are not gonna win. Honestly, the most significant part of this reunion was when we got into the Carolyn and Danielle stuff, and we honestly don't even talk about it too much. She does say that what people were saying about her hurt her feelings, like just in general, people just kind of like making fun of her, commenting about how different she is. She says that she doesn't feel like Danielle respected her. And when Andy asks Carolyn that question, when he's like, do you feel like Danielle respected you, she starts like crying. I mean, she was clearly so affected by all of this. She got really, really emotional. Then he asks Danielle if she respected Carolyn, and Danielle says yes. She kind of like fluffs around a little bit. She's kind of like, I think Carolyn is so smart, and like really it was nothing personal, and I just did it because of this, and this, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, she finally gets to, yes, I respected Carolyn. Which is like, do I think that's true? I think it is true. Like, I think overall, like, sure, Danielle respects Carolyn, but I do think that she thinks she's like smarter than her. And I think Danielle thinks that like she deserved to win, but Carolyn did not, if that makes sense. Like, I think she respects Carolyn, but she just doesn't think that like they're on like an equal playing field. I don't think she never ever planned on going to the end with her. And then Gabby comes in and says that, at least as a viewer through watching the edit, she doesn't feel like Carolyn was respected. And like, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's why so many people are hating on Danielle right now. Like, just by watching the edit, it's like, yeah, Carolyn was being steamrolled, but like, it wasn't even always by Danielle. Like, Boston Rob and Bob the drag queen were doing it too. Dolores congratulates Carolyn for being number 7 in the world on Cameo, which is like kind of insane. I didn't really have much of a reaction to that, but then my boyfriend did the math, and I think Carolyn charges like I think $200 for a cameo, and my boyfriend did the math, and he was like, if she does like, I don't know, like an average number of cameos per week, she probably makes about like 6 figures a year doing it, which is like good for her. And I mean, I guess it hasn't been a year since the Traitors aired yet, so we'll see how long that clout lasts. But like, if you look at Carolyn's Instagram, she has like 260,000 followers, and I'm pretty sure I checked at the beginning and she had like less than 20,000. And then in the green room, Sam tells Tom that Carolyn said that she had a crush on him, and Tom looks so excited. Tom is like so flattered by that, and I'm watching this and I'm like, is that real? I'm not gonna lie, I can see that for her. Because Carolyn, no doubt, has never seen Vanderpump Rules. I don't think she knows anything about the drama. I don't think she cares. I can see her just in the castle being like, Tom's kind of funny. I can like see that. Obviously, I hope nothing happens between them, but I can like see her thinking that he's like kind of funny. Andy asks Boston Rob if he would have split the money with Carolyn at the end, and Boston Rob says no. And that's what I think is just so nice about like, because not only did like 4 faithfuls win, like the biggest group of faithfuls to ever win the Traitors, but it was also 4 non-gamers. None of them were on like the competitive shows like Survivor or The Challenge or Big Brother. It was just all these like 4 average people, reality TV stars, fucking Lord Ivar, and like they just trusted each other, and none of them had had a desire to like be the best. They just wanted to like get to the end with their friends. And I think that was like really wholesome and cute versus like the Traitors attitude, which is like, I want to be the only one at the end. Like Wes even says it. He's like, honestly, good for you guys for trusting. I feel like that says a lot about you, because if it was me, I would have been slitting throats. And like, it's just interesting. It's like a different perspective of the game. Not saying that like slitting throats is like reprehensible in the Traitors. It's like, it's a game at the end of the day. You do what you gotta do. But like, this wholesome ending was really sweet and I really liked it, especially because the entire season I was like really angry just watching Danielle and Carolyn. It made me so angry. So like having this ending just like made me really happy. It was very satisfying. Lots of switching teams jokes about Gabby and Ivar. I just thought that was really funny. Then it's Britney's turn to talk and she's like instantly heated again. It's literally like she's fresh off of the round table. Dolores tries to say that Britney like made up the eye contact thing, because one of the reasons Britney said she voted for Danielle was Dolores like supposedly looked at Danielle like this and just goes, like she just did kind of a nod to herself. And Britney's like, I swear I saw that. And Dolores is like, I didn't do that. Britney made that up. And then all of the other people are like, well, no, it's in the edit. Like you can see it. But then Dolores is like, I could have been like, it's edited. I could have been looking at anything. And like, they could have chopped that all together. But like, you can't blame Dolores for that. Britney did what she did. What happened happened. I really think there was no other outcome. I don't think Britney was ever gonna win no matter what she did. Then they start talking about Danielle and Britney's supposed friendship and Danielle feeling so betrayed by her. And Britney is like, Danielle, I don't know what you think is going on between us, but we've spent like a cumulative 3 hours together. You're totally overinflating our friendship, which is like, sure, like, I guess I would believe that if you weren't, like, sobbing, crying after you voted her out. It's like, what is it? Do you care about her, or are you guys, like, strangers? Because, like, in the show, sure, Danielle is making it seem like you have this rich history, but don't pretend like you also weren't like sobbing after Danielle got voted out. And they do bring up the rumors that Danielle like secretly told Britney that she was a traitor through like eye signals and heavy blinking and stuff. And Danielle is like, no, I signed an NDA, and I signed a very strict NDA. That is a lie. I believe her. I don't think she did. Again, she's a gamer. These reality TV shows are like the core of her career. If she ruined her reputation like that and stopped getting invited on other reality TV shows, it would be very bad for her. I really don't think she would do that. Dylan says that Zac Efron did see Bob the Drag Queen's comment, and all Zac said was that Bob should watch Baywatch. I bet he would really like it. It felt a little, I'm not gonna lie, felt like a little internalized homophobia a bit to me, but I was like, oh, whatever. Bob and Dorinda get into it. This isn't even worth it. Honestly, the rest of this reunion, I didn't even take any notes. It just got kind of silly from here. Bob and Dorinda get into a fight. This is why I'm saying that like the people voted out early should not get invited to the reunion, because the people like Dorinda and Ayan were trying so hard to get their screen time in, and it was so obnoxious. Dorinda like making up this beef that like, oh, Bob the Drag Queen is doing interviews saying he didn't even know who I am. Like, well, I didn't even know who you are. Like, that is so mean, blah, blah, blah. And Bob is just like, I didn't know who anybody was. I don't really watch reality TV. It's just all this like stupid, just trying to get screen time. Ayan is like doing the most, standing up, being like, look how good I look. Look at this dress. We have to take a moment for this dress. And I mean, don't get me wrong. She is best dressed at the reunion. Don't get me wrong. She looks phenomenal. But it is a little cringeworthy. It is doing a little too much. They cut to Dylan at one point, and his face is, he's just kind of like staring at the ground. Like it's just like really embarrassing. So I didn't take any more notes from there. There's really nothing towards like the last 15 minutes of the reunion that's worth talking about. Overall, I think this was an awesome season. I really, really liked it. I cannot wait for season 4. I don't even know who I want to see on season 4. I feel like we need to get some Love Island people in the castle. Especially from this last season of Love Island US, I would be shocked if they didn't get at least one. But like, imagine how good, like, Serena would be phenomenal. Leah Kateb would be phenomenal. Cordell would be fucking hilarious. He'd probably get voted out like super early. Maybe he wouldn't get banished. I do think he'd get murdered pretty early, but like, I think they would be phenomenal. Obviously, we have to get some more housewives in. Heather Gay would be really fun. You know who would be really fun is Angie K. Lots of possibilities. I know Lindsay Hubbard was actually supposed to be on Traitors season 3 and she dropped out because she got pregnant. I don't know. I mean, I guess her daughter would be what, like a year and a half by the time they film season 4, so I don't know if she would feel comfortable leaving her baby, but it would be cool to see her on there. But that remains to be seen. They're not even gonna start filming until this summer probably, so we're not gonna know for another like 4 to 5 months. That's it for my recap series of the Traitors US season 3. Stay tuned because my recap of the Love is Blind finale and reunion is coming in the next day or so, and then I'll be back with my usual schedule of recapping this week's episodes of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Summer House. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.